Good morning. Today we are discussing about the treatment of the bronchiectasis. As you know, bronchiectasis is a chronic inflammatory disease of the airway or hyperrespiratory disorder or allergic disorder of the airway. But in bronchiectasis, alveoli is not affected. The main pathology in bronchial asthma symptom is bronchial smooth muscle spasm, chronic airway inflammation, and in the mucus secretion, so that the diameter of the conducting airway get narrow. In the large degree of the airway narrowing, there is air trapping and there may be a dynamic hyperinflammation, and ultimately in the airway resistant, so that patient has to take more deep breath in frequency and in the intensity. So the respiratory rate is increased, change in the pulmonary elastic record, creating the diaphragm, and asynchronize between the coordination between the respiratory muscle, result in the gas exchange impairment. So work of the breathing is increased, and ultimately respiratory muscle fatigue. Now the treatment of the bronchial asthma. One is a control of the symptom and decrease the risk of exacerbation. Second is a treatment of the associated comorbidity such as obesity, GRD, OSA, and third is a treatment of the modified risk factor, and it includes the self-management education of the asthma, when to increase the dose of inhaled steroid and inhaled medication at the home, so the frequency to visit hospital is go down and patient has less episode of the asthma. Now the goal of treatment. Goal of the bronchial asthma treatment is achieve good control of the symptom and maintain the normal activity. When to say good control, the daytime symptom in a week is 2 or less than 2. Now, use of the delivered medication per week is not more than 2 times per week. No night awakening due to asthma. No limitation of routine physical activity. So patient can live the normal life as compared to the normal person. Now the treatment of the asthma is one for the treatment of the stable asthma, and second is the treatment of the severe form of the asthma. Which are the medication used in the asthma treatment? One is reliever and second is a controller. Reliever means the treatment of the symptom. When shortness of breath, you should take the medication such as SABA. It is considered reliever. And the second is controller to prevent the symptom. The controller medication is inhaled corticosteroid or the steroid form. And third but not least is anti-leukotriene. One is a decrease the synthesis by the inhibiting enzyme involved in forming nicotine, and second is the receptor blockage by the competitivity by the anti-nicotine receptor antagonist. Now nicotine also play a major role in formation and development of the bronchial asthma. Now the stable asthma treatment issued with the medication. One is a bronchodilator, second anti-inflammatory, second is anti-nicotine. Now the bronchodilator medication are two types. One is a beta-2 agonist, and second is a anticholinergic drugs. Now the beta-2 agonist is short acting, and second is a long acting. Long acting is given 3 to 4 times per day, and a long acting given once a day or twice a day. Now the anticholinergic is one is a ipratropium bromide. It is given minimum BD, and second is a long acting anticholinergic is a tiotropium bromide. It is given once a day. Second is an anti-inflammatory in the form of steroid, whether used orally or in form of inhaled medication. The third is an anti-nicotine. One is a enzyme inhibitor. The enzyme is 5-lipoxygenase, is essential to form the nicotine B4, C4, D4 and E4. When the enzyme is inhibited by the medication such as xylitol, they decrease the production of the nicotine. So the bronchospasm is low. The third is a nicotine receptor inhibitor. One is a montelukast. Now the inhaled medication. Inhaled medication is drug in the low dose directly reach at the affected organ. So the side effect is also low when medication is taken in the inhaled form. Now the inhaled medication is in the one is a dry powder inhaler medication, second is a MDI metadose inhaler, and third is a nebulizer. In the DPI means the rotahilas. We will see in this slide. There is a rotacaps below the finger, color two. One is a transparent and second is a yellowish saffron color. Transparent portion of the capsule is inserted in the hole and rotate. So medication is dispersed in the container. But in this DPI device, inhalation flow is more. When the patient is having severe asthma or life-threatening asthma, or in the old age and pediatrics patient having asthma, this is not suitable for this rotahilar means the DPI inhaler. In this, you should take the forceful and deep inspiration. In the Second is a meter dose inhaler. Once you press the top of the canister, there is a release of the fixed dose medication. In MDI inhaler, there should be coordination between the pressing at the top of inhaler and take the slowly and deep breath simultaneously. So when patient is not able to take deep breath, or in the children, we can use MDI with spacer. In this slide, person taking MDI medication through the spacer, and second photo shows children taking inhaled medication through the spacer. In this, there is no requirement of the coordination between the pressing at the top of canister and take the deep breath. In the spacer, you can release the medication in the spacer by the pressing at the top of the canister. Then patient can take at normal breath. So it is very easy to take medication. Now the third is a nebulizer. Nebulizer device to deliver the medication in form of mist. There is one instrument connected with the power. The machine produces the air with the pressure. Air passing through this tube and medication containing at the bulb near to the thumb of the patient. So the liquid medication is turning to the mist. Then patient is inhaling thoroughly, but it takes more time compared to MDI and DPI. But this is more convenient in the severe form of asthma when the patient is not able to take deep breath. So these three devices are commonly used for medication in bronchial asthma. One is a DPI, second is MDI, and third is a nebulizer. Now, before we starting, which form of medication is given, we should conclude the severity of the symptom. The severity of the symptom of bronchial asthma is in the three groups. One is a mild, moderate, and severe. Mild group is divided into two. One is a intermittent and second is a persistent. Now the mild intermittent daytime symptom in a week is 2 or less than 2. Use of reliever medication 2 or less than 2 per week. And night awakening due to the asthma is 2 or less than 2 per month. No limitation of physical activity in the normal life. And a peak expiratory flow rate is greater than 80% of person best. This is considered mild intermittent when the patient get exposure to the irritant fume dust. Now the mild persistent daytime symptom is more than 2 but not daily. Night awakening is less than 1 per week but not daily, and use of rescue medication more than 2 but not daily, and peak expected flow rate is greater than 80% of person best. This is the mild. Our treatment goal is patient asthma remain in the mild intermittent phase. There is no cure of the bronchial asthma. It is under control, so the patient should take medication throughout the life. Now the moderate form, when the symptom of the bronchial asthma is daily, use of the reliever medication means the SABA should be taken daily, and night awakening more than one per week, but not every night. And a peak expiratory flow rate is less than 80% of predicted. Now the severe symptom throughout the day. Patient has shortness of breath frequently in the whole day. Every night symptom. Every night patient has to awake due to the symptom, and a frequent use of the rescue medication daily. And there is a marked limitation of daily routine activity. So patient is tired physically and mentally, and peak expiratory flow rate is less than 60. Now the medication to be used for the symptom control and risk the reduction. Main medication used in the bronchial asthma is inhaled corticosteroid containing controller treatment for the symptom control, and they reduce the risk of the exacerbation. If the patient is having bronchial asthma and not taking inhaled corticosteroid during the treatment, the risk of the exacerbation is more. It should be taken regular daily treatment in the low dose or agent when required, with combination of the formoterol. Stepping up in the uncontrolled symptom. The patient is not controlled with the regular low dose daily medication, or as on needed in combination inhaled corticosteroid and formoterol. You should step up the medication before checking the proper inhaler technique and adherence to the medication, and check the history of the persistent exposure to the allergen. If the patient is persistently exposure to the causative factor, so there should be no good response with the medication. If the patient has comorbidity, then patient has not good response by the medication. Stepping down with the good control when the patient is having mild intermittent symptom, that is called good control. It should be lasted for 3 months. Then you decrease the dose of medication. So once you start the medication, should be continue for 3 months. At the 3 month, you assess the symptom and with documented with the spirometry. With the risk factors. Some are modifiable risk factor, some is a not modifiable risk factor. One is a modified risk factor is a smoking and exposure to the irritant fume dust. By two, modified risk is controlled by patient itself, and patient should take the daily regular inhaled corticosteroid medication. Patient should take medication by the good technique, and he should adherence to the treatment even if symptom is under control. You see asthma monitoring at the house at home level by the peak flow meter instrument. Patient judge his best report at home, and if decrease 20% in this best result, then patient has developed symptom, then patient need some more medication or increase the dose of taking medication at home, so that patient doesn't require to go to the hospital. So the monitoring of the symptom at the home by the patient himself is also important. Now the category of the treatment. One is a controller medication. It reduces the airway inflammation, risk of the exacerbation, and decrease the decline lung function and control the symptom, so the patient can live the normal life routine work. Controller medication given in the with combination of the formoterol and low dose inhaled corticosteroid in the mild form before at the onset of the symptom and before the exercise, but it should be given regular basis in other moderate or severe form. Second is a reliever medication should be given to the all patients as needed basis or regular. And third is a add-on therapy for the severe form of asthma. Now the step for the bronchial asthma treatment. Step 1, symptom less than twice a month is treated with the step 1 treatment. In the step 1 treatment, low dose inhaled corticosteroid with combination with formoterol agent on required symptom 2 or more than month, but not daily. It should be treated with the daily low dose inhaled corticosteroid or as needed low dose inhaled corticosteroid with formoterol or nicotine receptor antagonist such as montolocast. Now if the symptom is daily, night awakening more than 1 per week, it should be treated with the low dose inhaled corticosteroid, long acting beta 2 agonist or medium dose inhaled corticosteroid. Now the symptom daily and night awakening more than week with a low lung volume should be treated with the medium dose inhaled corticosteroid plus LABA. And step 5. Daily symptom, night-time problem, it should be treated with the high dose inhaled corticosteroid plus LABA and assessed for advanced therapy, and I prefer reliever as needed. The reliever is not only SABA, but it should be combined with the inhaled corticosteroid. Now the low dose, medium dose and high dose of inhaled corticosteroid. Name of the medication is beclomethasone. Low dose is up to the 200 microgram. More than 200 up to the 400 is considered medium, and more than 400 it is considered high dose. And the budesonide 200 to 400 considered low dose. Between the 400 to 800 considered medium dose, and above the 800 microgram daily it considered high dose. Cyclosporine 80 to 160 low dose, above 160 to the 320 considered medium, above 320 considered high dose. Fluticasone propionate 100 to 250 low dose, above 250 up to the 500 medium, and above 500 considered high dose. Mometasone DPI, the low and medium dose it is 200 and high dose is 400. Now the dose equivalent, we should know when some medication is not available, instead of this other medication is available. So dose equivalent is important. Now the medication and dose. Injection hydrocortisone 20 milligram is equal to the prednisolone of 5 milligram. If you want to give the hydrocortisone 100 milligram, if injection is not available, you can use prednisolone of 5 milligram into 5 means 5 milligram 1 into 5 means the 5 tablet of the prednisolone is equal to the 100 milligrams of the hydrocortisone injection. 20 milligram of hydrocortisone is equal to the 4 milligram of methyl prednisolone. In the case of the dexamethasone, prednisolone 5 milligram is equal to the dexamethasone 0.75. Now the risk factor for the poor control and exacerbation. Some patients develop repeated exacerbation when the patient is having already uncontrolled symptom of the asthma with treatment. Some risk factors are independently present. One is a ever intubated for the asthma or the hospitalization for at least one in previous year, are independent factor for the exacerbation. Once exacerbation develop, patient has a greater chance of the repeated exacerbation in the future. Exacerbation is also more in when the patient taking frequent use of the reliever. If the patient requires the frequent use of the reliever, taking medication without inhaled corticosteroid and poor adherence to the treatment, patient should take the medication twice a day. If patient think I feel better with the once a day, so the chances of the exacerbation also more in this patient. An inhaled technique is not good, then exacerbation also more. Now the constant or repeated exposure to the smoking, allergen, air pollutant, which produce exacerbation in the patient taking appropriate medication. So the patient should avoid the exposure, and the treatment of the associated comorbidity such as obstructive sleep apnea. Patient has to reduce the weight, and treatment of the gastroesophageal reflux disorder, and a patient at initiation of the treatment if the FEV1 is less than 60% of the predicted value. This patient, the chances of the exacerbation is more. Now assess the severity of the symptom. One is the acute severe form, second is the life-threatening asthma, and third is the near fatal asthma. Now what is acute severe asthma? When the patient is taking medication for asthma and come to the hospital emergency, if patient is not able to complete the full sentence using of the accessory muscle, silent chest, pulse is more than 110 per minute, respiratory more than double mean the more than 30 per minute, peak expiratory flow is less than 50 of best, and SpO2 below 92% at home. It is considered acute severe asthma. In the acute severe asthma, initially patient is hyperventilated, so the CO2 is washed out. If you do the EBG in acute severe asthma, you will find the PaO2 is low and PaCO2 is also low. Means there is a hypoxia with hypocarbemia. Now in the life-threatening, we should consider patient is in the life-threatening stage, and there is a mental status altered, patient confused or paradoxical breathing. During the breathing, there is a depression of the abdominal muscle, or patient is not able to sleep or in the lying down position, heart rate in the bradycardia, over respiratory effort, patient may have cyanosis and hypotension. PaO2 is low and PaCO2 become low to the normal range. So when the PaCO2 initially low, then it come into the normal range. This is not good sign of treating physician and also for the patient. When the PaCO2 from low to become normal, means the condition of the patient is worsening. SpO2 is less than 92% and peak expiratory flow is less than one-third of best. When we consider near fatal asthma, above feature with raised PaCO2 by the EBG measurement. When the patient is having severe sweating, use of the accessory muscles and inability to speak complete sentence, consider significant airway obstruction. When there is a paradoxical breathing, hypercarbia and oxygen desaturation, which means the ventilatory failure. Hypoxia is universal finding the exacerbation. Hypocapnia and respiratory alkalosis in the early stage. Hypercapnia and respiratory acidosis in the later stage, suggestive of the respiratory failure. Now the treatment of the exacerbation. If the patient taking regular medication for asthma and avoid the exposure to the return, if the repeated exposure patient develop exacerbation, so we should identify the precipitating risk factor and symptom severity, which stage of symptom. So we should treat the patient at the OPD level or at the indoor or at the ICU level. Now the acute severe life-threatening and near fatal. For acute severe form, we should advise short-acting beta-2 agonist 4 to 5 puff with a spacer repeated 20 minutely for 3 dose. Prednisolone 1 milligram per kg body weight BD for 2 days, then OD for next 6 to 7 days. O2 therapy, our goal is SpO2 above the 90 or between the 93 and 95%. Evaluate patient after 1 hour. If no improvement or worsening the condition, is treated as a life-threatening asthma is treated with the oxygen therapy, initially high concentration, then titrate later on. Medication given by the nebulizer with the beta-2 agonist in ipratropium, steroid by orally or intravenously. Patient is taking orally, you can give the prednisolone 1 milligram per kg body weight BD for 2 days, and then 1 milligram per kg body weight daily for next 5 to 6 days. IV fluid to maintain the BP. You can treat it with the IV bronchodilator. If no response above medication, you can treat with the magnesium sulfate. It is given in the single dose. Or not good response, it should be treated with the epinephrine. It should be given in the 0.3 to 0.4 ml of solution of the 1 into 1000 dilution, subcutaneously 20 minutely for 3 doses, not more than 3 doses. And if no response, patient should be put on invasive ventilation. Now what is uncontrolled asthma? If the presence of the one or both symptom of follow, then we can consider patient is having uncontrolled asthma. Poor symptom control. The symptom of mild intermittent is not present or more than mild intermittent is considered uncontrolled asthma, or frequent exacerbation 2 or more than per year, requiring oral corticosteroid, or serious exacerbation 1 or more than 1, requiring hospitalization, control the uncontrolled asthma. And what is difficult to treat asthma is uncontrolled asthma treated with the GINA guideline step 4 or 5 with high dose inhaled corticosteroid plus LABA and oral corticosteroid. When the patient is on high dose of inhaled corticosteroid and LABA and taking oral steroid, considered difficult to treat the asthma. When the severe asthma is uncontrolled asthma despite treatment with step 4 or 5 recommended by the GINA with adequate adherence and correct technique and treatment of the contributory factor, with the correction of the GRD due to the weight and treatment of the OSA, they are modifiable risk factor. Patient has good proper technique and patient is adequately adherent to the medication at the step 4 and 5. Consider severe asthma or worsening on the reduction of the high dose. If the patient is step 4, if you reduce the dose and condition is worsening, is considered severe asthma. Thank you. Thanks.